Hi, I'm Sarah Scher, author of Incandescent Magic Unknown. As long as I can remember, I've had a passion for storytelling, be that with books, video games, movies, TV shows. When my sister and I were really little, we'd play with Barbies, much like many other girls our age, but we would create very complex stories for them. So instead of Barbie goes to the mall, Barbie gets married, we would create our own stories that we would play out with the Barbies. And they would be often inspired by a lot of our favorite movies or TV shows, so like X-Men, Pokemon, Digimon, Sailor Moon, Kiki's Delivery Service, that sort of thing. I do also remember when I was a child narrating everything I was thinking in my head like I was the protagonist of a story. And I used to question if that was normal, and I still do. But I remember very distinctly when I realized I was doing it. I was walking around barefoot in my parents' backyard, and I remember in my head specifically describing how the pine needles were hurting my bare feet, and I realized I am writing this all out in my head, and is that normal? Do other people do this? And I still don't know. The first time I realized I had any talent, if you can call it that, it still feels weird calling it that, would have been in 4th grade. We were given a prompt to write a short story about the start of springtime. And I wanted to start my story with a tweeting sound of a robin that my character would then wake up hearing it and then go outside and realize that spring had started. So starting the story with just a tweet tweet. My teacher raved about this like it was some big deal that writers would utilize this type of thing. And I didn't realize when I did it that it was any kind of big deal. I just thought it was a fun way to start a story, and then it got me thinking maybe I'm good at this. Maybe this is something that just comes natural to me. And from there I started writing more. It developed then into a lot of supernatural themed short stories. I remember one in particular was about a girl who did not have a reflection, and I was going to create this universe, characters popping up in the different stories, and it always being themed around something supernatural. Not necessarily scary, not horror, but a little bit supernatural. Fast forward a little to 6th grade. We had a ongoing assignment in language arts, English, but we called it language arts, where we would have a minimum of 3 pages to write in a journal. It started the semester with 3 pages, but then as the semester went on, the teacher would allow us to do more than 3 pages. We'd set the goal on Monday and then turn in the journals on Friday. And near the end of the semester, the teacher had forgotten to get our goals on Monday, and I had kept writing anyway because I was really enjoying it. And Thursday she asked, okay, everyone, let's set your goals, and then tomorrow turn in your journals. So she's going around the room, and you're getting some 3s, some 5s, maybe there was an odd 10 in there. Meanwhile, I am flipping through my journal, this journal right here. I actually have my original journal from 6th grade. The writing is terrible, by the way. I was flipping through the pages, counting how many I had actually written to set that as my goal. And she finally gets to me and asks, Sarah, okay, what do you want your goal to be? And I had counted out 56 pages. So I just very coyly, 56? And heads are turning, people are looking at me funny, and I'm like, I wrote 56 pages. I'm going to set that as my goal. And then that pushed me to then want to write more each week. I'm like, I wrote 56 this week, I can write 56. I can write more than 56 this week. So it kind of took off from there. In fact, I was one of the few people in the class that actually had to start a second journal because I filled up my first one. Around this time, I also took a big interest in writing Cats fan fiction. Hear me out. I was a big musical nerd. I was very much into the musical Cats. So I took those characters and I started writing my own story based on their offspring, the next generation of Jellicle Cats. And I took a lot of inspiration from a book series that I enjoyed at the time called Warriors. So I was writing a lot of short stories about cats, about cats living cat lives. And I actually really enjoyed those. I unfortunately could not find any of my original artwork or any of the original writing, which is very unfortunate because I would have loved to have gone back and read it, because even remembering them, I think they were good stories. They were entertaining and fun. I also, somewhere along the lines, dabbled a little bit in creating comic books, and I had drawn out one whole book in a series. There was going to be 5. I had drawn out one whole book and started a second, and inevitably ditched that project. Instead, I'm looking to take that comic book series and I've kind of revamped it. I've made it better, and it's going to be converted to a novel series, which I'll be releasing once I finish the Incandescent series. So be on the lookout for that one. 6th grade was also when I wrote the very first draft of what would later become Incandescent. It was not good. It was very, very rough. And I won't get into too much detail about that here because I want to kind of discuss that in a later video. So, if you found this video inspirational or educational or maybe a little bit entertaining, make sure to click that like button. Leave a comment, let me know if there's anything else you would like to learn about in the future, and if you are interested in learning more about the evolution of the Incandescent series from beginning to end, well, beginning to now, make sure to click the subscribe button below. I'll be uploading a video later on that goes into much more detail about that. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.